everyone, and welcome back to Psych with Laura. If you guys are all caught up on to date, then you know last episode we talked about group behavior, which are things like groupthink, social facilitation, and conformity. But on today's episode, number 21, we are going to be talking about classical and operant conditioning. But before we get started on this educational video, I do want to remind everyone that my book, Psych with Laura, is still out on online stores or at your local Barnes & Noble. And if you use the code PAVLOGSDOG, you get 20% off. And for those that are new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And please hit the notifications. That way you are notified every time I post a new video. All right, let's get learning. Our first main topic is classical conditioning. The book definition of classical conditioning is
associating two stimuli to anticipate events.
Now, if you don't know what a stimulus is, you're in luck because I will tell you guys what it is. A stimulus is
any object or event that elicits a sensory or behavioral response.
The way I like to think about it is that this happens in 5 parts. Part number 1
is the neutral stimulus, which is a stimulus that elicits no response before conditioning.
Then, you will have your unconditioned stimulus,
which is a stimulus that naturally and automatically triggers a response.
Number 3, you're going to go to your unconditioned response,
which is an unlearned, naturally occurring response to an unconditioned stimulus. Remember, a natural response, not learned.
Then you have 4,
in which you have the conditioned stimulus, which is an originally irrelevant stimulus that after association with an unconditioned stimulus comes to trigger a conditioned response.
And lastly, we end with our final result, which is the conditioned response,
which is the learned response to a previously neutral stimulus.
Overall, those 5 parts are what make up classical conditioning. And I know some of you might be confused because these definitions aren't the easiest, but now I will be showing an example clip to break down what classical conditioning looks like. That was a lot of voices outside.
Trick or treat!
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many voices outside.
Trick or treat!
Yeah.
Why is everybody being so loud tonight?
Yeah.
Wait, those voices are from the trick-or-treaters. I should probably go grab the candy before they get here. Okay, so let's talk about the Halloween example and as to why that is classical conditioning. At first, the neutral stimulus was hearing the voices outside. It elicited no response to the person. Then they had the unconditioned stimulus, which was the doorbell. It triggers a response of getting up and answering the door. Third, they had the unconditioned response that they knew since it was Halloween. The doorbell meant that a kid was waiting out there to get candy, so they had to grab the bowl. Fourth, the conditioned stimulus after a while became hearing the voices because they realized that every time they heard voices outside their door, it meant there was kids there, which resulted in the conditioned response of whenever they heard the voices outside the door, they had to. So now that we are experts on classical conditioning, I will be talking about the other type of conditioning, which is operant conditioning. The book definition of operant conditioning is
the type of learning in which behaviors are omitted to earn rewards or avoid punishments.
Now, operant conditioning comes with 2 elements, that being the reinforcer and the punisher.
The reinforcer is a stimulus or event that follows a behavior and makes that behavior more likely to occur again. And the punisher is a stimulus or event that follows a behavior and makes that behavior less likely to occur again.
Okay, now that we know the 2 elements that come with operant conditioning, we should break them down into 2 separate different types.
With the reinforcements, there comes 2 types of reinforcements, and with punishers, there comes 2 types of punishers.
All right, so let's start off with the 2 types of reinforcements. With reinforcements comes the positive one and the negative one.
Positive reinforcement adds something rewarding following a behavior, making that behavior more likely to occur again. Whereas negative reinforcement removes or reduces something unpleasant to strengthen a response.
Now I will show you guys an example clip of what these 2 reinforcements look like.
Nice job. An A+?
A+?
Oh my god. Here's a lollipop because you did so good.
Okay, class. So now the objective for today is to write 5 paragraphs. The 5 paragraphs I want it to be on the new Reader's List book. Okay, guys? And I want you guys to annotate it.
Yes?
But Miss, 5 paragraphs is too long.
All right, class. But if you promise me 4 good paragraphs, then I'll eliminate the 5th one. So let's talk about those examples. The first one was the positive reinforcement. That was positive because I'm giving out candy to reward for a good behavior, meaning they would want to do it again to keep receiving that candy. And then the second one was negative reinforcement because although the class did not want to do the 5 paragraphs, I took away the 5th one in order to strengthen their responses. Lastly, the second element is the punishers, in which you have your positive and negative punishers.
A positive punisher is when you add something to decrease behavior, and a negative punisher is subtracting something to decrease behavior.
And now I will be showing you guys 2 example clips of what the positive and negative punishers look like.
Jennifer, what is this mess? You know what? You're grounded. You're grounded for a whole week. Jennifer, what is this mess? You know what? Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Give it.
The first example was positive because I was adding the punishment of grounding her in order to decrease the behavior. And then the second example was negative because I was taking away her phone in order to decrease the behavior. Okay, everyone, so that is it on classical and operant conditioning. I hope you guys learned a lot, and please stay tuned for my next video.